Are you struggling with a gambling addiction but have no idea how to stop placing bets? Well, you aren't alone. I was exactly like that just a few years ago. I had no idea where to turn or what would work for me. I just knew that I couldn't get myself to stop wagering money on sports and spinning slot machines in the online casino. Gambling addiction affects millions of people around the world, so if you or someone you know is struggling with this issue, you're absolutely not alone. And you've come to the exact right place. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 5 tips to battle against a gambling addiction and live a happier and more peaceful life in recovery. You're going to want to stick around because while all of these tips are helpful individually, you're going to want to use all 5 together in your recovery journey to give yourself the best chance at getting clean and staying healthy. So let's dive right into it. Tip 1 is to delay urges when they come. We all know that urges to gamble can be really strong, but they are temporary. The key is to create a gap between the urge and the action. So when you feel the urge to gamble, tell yourself that you'll play an hour from now. Then, keep repeating this delay tactic. By doing this, you're putting distance between the thought and the action, and you're giving yourself the time to rationalize your decision and reflect on the possible consequences that might come. Remember, these urges are strong, but they pass. Now, of course, this may sound like a temporary solution, and that's because it absolutely is. But scientists say that it takes your brain between 21 and 90 days to reset itself back to the state that it was in before you started your gambling. Remember that gambling addiction, and all addictions, are a result of a brain chemical dependency that you develop to the action itself. By pushing off these urges, you're giving your brain the space that it needs to reset its levels of dopamine and serotonin, the neurochemicals causing your addiction, back to their original baseline, and leave you stronger for it each day as your brain is moving in that right direction. Now moving on to tip number 2, you have to be honest with those who are closest to you. Open communication is really vital in overcoming any addiction, so talk to your loved ones about your struggle with gambling addiction. Share your fears, concerns, and all the challenges that you face. By being honest and vulnerable, you're allowing them to understand your situation better and provide the support that you need. Remember that you don't have to fight this battle alone. Your loved ones are there for you, and their understanding can make a huge difference in your recovery. Of course, what you need to remember is that your loved ones may not fully understand the situation that you're going through, because gambling addiction is hard to understand if you're not a gambling addict. There are people out there who will understand you, and we're going to talk about them later on in this video. But remember that as human beings, we crave connection, and those closest to us reflect our energy. If we're honest and develop an understanding with them, we'll be able to be more honest with ourselves as well. This is vital to recovery. We become compulsive liars as gambling addicts to stay in action or hide the severity of our issue, so it's really important that we begin to change that to live a happier life. You can even take this a little bit further, and that's where we get to tip number 3, which is to have a family member manage your finances. It's no surprise that gambling addiction takes a toll on your financial well-being. So to prevent yourself from gambling away your hard-earned money, consider maybe having a trusted family member or friend manage your finances. By handing over control, you're eliminating the temptations that you might feel, and you're ensuring that your money's being used for essential needs rather than gambling. This step provides a safety net that gives you peace of mind and allows you to focus on your recovery instead of the money. This is exactly what I do. You need to know yourself. That's most important. I know that carrying cash isn't a problem for me because the majority of my gambling was done online. So, I have my family hold my banking information, and I go with them to withdraw cash on a weekly basis or whenever I need it. Adding gatekeepers to the situation might seem like a huge ego hit at first, but then you come to realize that it's just being financially responsible. You're giving yourself the best chance at success, and that makes things make a little bit more sense. Let's move on to tip 4, which is to self-exclude from casinos and sportsbooks. Self-exclusion is a really powerful tool in your recovery journey. This involves voluntarily banning yourself from entering casinos, sportsbooks, or gambling establishments that you might have frequented before, and it also applies to their online sportsbooks and casinos. This really helps you to limit access to gambling environments and helps you to break the cycle of addiction. You can take control of your actions by excluding yourself from these places. It's a really crucial step towards regaining control in your life, because if you aren't allowed to gamble somewhere, it'd make the process much more difficult, and hopefully that would deter you from continuing. I've self-excluded from every casino I've ever been to and every website I've ever played on. I've also made a full video diving into how to self-exclude from casinos, and I'm going to be linking it up here. But wait, don't click that link yet. We still have to talk about the most important tip that I have to begin to recover from a gambling addiction. So, just wait until after the video to click that one. Now, tip number 5, the most important tip, is to join a 12-step support group meeting. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. These meetings provide a safe and supportive environment for people battling against addiction. By connecting with others who have faced similar struggles to you, you really gain a sense of community, understanding, and most importantly, and I cannot emphasize this enough, you develop accountability. When trying to recover on our own, we can hide from others whether or not we've actually kept our word. At those meetings, people know when you're lying to them, and you need to be honest with them, or there's really no point in being there at all. This gives you an extra reason to stay clean, as you don't want to have to explain to the group why you've gone back to the bet. Sharing your experiences, listening to other stories, and learning from their journeys will hopefully inspire you, and it hopefully should motivate you on your own path to recovery. The reason that I find these meetings so important is because a lot of us feel like outcasts or that we're misunderstood, even by those that we're closest to. But when you walk into one of those meetings and you share your story with the others in the room, they actually understand your twisted way of thinking. I used to think that I was the only gambling addict in the world, but boy was I wrong. After you go to a meeting like that, you develop a better understanding that there are many out there who think just like you, and they need just as much help as you do. There's a real power in community, and even more power in a community that can relate to your every twisted thought. Remember, you're not alone, and together, we're a lot stronger than we are individually. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 5 tips to battle against a gambling addiction and live a happier and healthier life in recovery. To quickly recap, we discussed the importance of delaying urges, being honest with your loved ones, having someone manage your finances, self-excluding from gambling establishments, and of course, joining 12-step support group meetings. Overcoming gambling addiction is a challenging journey, and it's not going to happen in one day, but it's a journey well worth taking if you want to live a happier life. Recovery is possible, and if you want to keep learning about what's working for me in my recovery journey, smash that subscribe button to join our community. Please drop a like on this video and let me know about anything that you think should have made this list. And as always, let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.